Hello, everyone. This is Patriot War Gamer here. I'm starting a new series, and you probably noticed I was recording. Well, if anyone watched, I was recording a GC between myself and another person in the Radzymin mod for Close Combat Last Stand Arnhem. Well, we ended that prematurely, sorta. We didn't really end it, we just kind of stopped playing. But since then, the CC Discord, the kind of unofficial community one, has started up a grand campaign that is kind of a team effort. So there's somewhere between like 5 and 10 players on each team, Russians and Germans respectively. So we've been playing that for a few weeks now, and I figured I'd start recording those and uploading them as I'm able to. My job is pretty busy, so I don't always have time to do everything that I'd like to, and I'm not maybe not going to get every single one of these, but I'll upload them, like I said, as I can. So for today, uh, for starters, I'll show you our grand campaign map here. So this is this is the map of the Radzymin mod grand campaign. 7 day, I think it is, or is it 12 day? I can't remember exactly. There is like a longer 30-day campaign as well, same map. Um, I'm on the Russian side. Our ultimate goal is to, push in and take the map, or as much of it as we can. And we're probably just a couple days in at this point. It looks like we are on the 30th, I think. So yeah, 3 days in. I think it's a 12-day campaign, if I recall. I'm sure someone's going to watch this and know and tell me I'm right or wrong. Um, so far, what you're looking at here is these areas in green are sections of the map that we, the Soviets, have taken control and are not contested currently. These kind of off-colored areas between the green areas and the red bold line are contested areas where there's active combat going. The yellow is the current map, which is not actually correct in this picture. I just haven't changed that. That's actually, I think, contested still. I can't remember. Where we're actually fighting is here, Kawisi. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. So we just entered that map from the east, I believe, with the 54th Guards Division. So, and this is me recording a recording, so bear with me here. Yep, so you can see here we're fighting with the 54th Guards Division against the 232nd Grenadier Regiment. Sorry. I'm not entirely certain what division that's a part of. Totenkopf, maybe? No, that's not Totenkopf. Um, but yeah, I'm going to skip ahead here. So this is the force selection. And again, I'm recording this after the fact, so I made some minor changes here. I decided to keep the MG team. I generally don't bring those, but every now and again it's good. It can be good to, if you need some extra fire support in a hard to reach spot that a tank can't quite get, or you're worried about AT in that locality, you can kind of move that MG team up to support your infantry teams. And then I tend to bring two mortars. I think I also had originally this combat group had Su-85 that I swapped out for a T-34-85. I just wanted it for the extra machine gun that the Su-85 doesn't have, as well as the, increased level of mobility that a turret brings with it. Oh man, okay. So, sorry, I had to cut a snip out of there of me looking for the other video I had and then also sneezing several times in a row. So I'm going to go ahead and show the battle here now. Skip ahead to the action. So the plan here is the way we're running this campaign is that we actually have a rudimentary command structure in place. So we have a CIC and a second CIC or commander. And the order I've been given is our primary objective is to take this northern VL to Sokolov, which I believe the map that leads to has another battle group that is currently in combat with the Germans. I think the fear there, if I had to guess, which I don't know because it wasn't told to me why I'm taking that, I just know I'm taking that. But if I had to, venture a guess, it would probably be something to do with that, with not wanting the Germans to be able to flank that battle group through there. So as you're going to see, I'm going to focus a majority of my effort on taking that, and there's going to be some pretty bloody fighting. And then I'm also going to push lightly through the center and just slowly make my way across the map. So let's start. Let's see if we can get full screen here real quick. Yeah, there we go. And we'll go ahead and play that. So right off the bat, I'm laying down some mortar smoke as I move my teams up north there. The mortars are pretty hit and miss in this game, considering there's Borg spotting. So all that means is if there's an enemy team right here that sees this team, and there's an enemy team right here behind the smoke, even though that team can't spot that unit necessarily, this one on the left can, and that one up there can still fire on it once it's spotted by the one on the left. It's frustrating. So yeah, I pretty quickly realized there's nothing to block me there, which, to be fair, this was a neutral deployment area in this field. So I start running those teams up, which he's going to start bringing some mortars down. Something obviously saw something in there. And pretty quickly we spot an enemy team up there. So at this point, my main goal is to get as much fire superiority on this team as I can. You'll see things evolve as the battle goes on, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking as I'm watching, as I'm playing in the moment of it. I don't know, where these other teams are going to eventually pop up. So at this point, my first thought is, okay, so one, maybe two teams up here to the north protecting this northern VL. So you can see I'm bringing down some mortars. I got at least two teams on them now firing. I'm bringing up this T-34-85 to offer some heavy fire support as well. And this is pretty dangerous, but I'm going to move them right up there. These teams sometimes have Panzerfausts that can take out these T-34s, but what I'm betting on here is that there's so much fire coming down on them already that they're going to be suppressed enough that they're not going to be able to accurately fire a Panzerfaust if fired at all. So that's kind of what I'm banking on at the moment. So yeah, at this point we just want to keep that gunfire. And you can see right there that team just opened up on that left hedgerow, firing on my guys moving north there. And I just redirected some mortars on them to help suppress them, and I'm also moving a T-34-85 from the south up to put some more suppressing fire on it as well. Excuse my sniffling during this video. I have a bit of a runny nose. So yeah, the name of the game here is just fire superiority. Fortunately, I was able to isolate this team up north and put more fire on him than he can return. So that's how you win battles. You locate, you isolate, and you destroy, which we've successfully done up here. And you can see right now, this was a 1-to-1 fight here in the kind of left hedgerow, but I'm bringing up some more units to the south down here to even the odds, if not weigh them in my favor. It can be hard in these big defensive maps. You always, in the defense, you always want to have supporting fire, but it can be real hard in these big, broad maps like that. You can see he's moving another team up there to get some gunfire on my guys. Some enfilading fire, but I am responding in kind with my T-34-85, mortars, and small arms. So that team's about to have a pretty bad day. Admittedly, I do think I got a bit lucky in some of these gunfight exchanges. You can see I'm targeting that hedgerow where that team was. I lost line of sight of my T-34. just to keep that suppression on them. Mortars are a great suppression tool. So you can see that team out in the open took some fire there, and I immediately suppressed that that German team that was shooting at them with my mortars. We're just bringing our sappers up right here. Now this was unfortunate. My sappers kind of came head to head with some of his sappers here in the hedgerow, in that V just below the Sokolov VL. You can see the remnants of that Grenadier team up there. We're gunning down now. So you can see here we kind of snuck a team through the center there. I'm trying to get this T-34 right here to get eyes on this sapper team at that Sokolov VLV. But I'm having quite a rough time doing that. I'm going to see an unfortunate incident here where I thought this Panzerschreck didn't have eyes on, or line of sight, or, you know, it was too far for it to fire on that T-34, but it's going to end up not being the case. And it takes it out. That's a 100-meter shot. Impressive. And I'm still just trying to mop up this sapper team and what's left up here by Sokolov VL. You can see his flamethrowers there doing work. Admittedly, I'm taking a bit of a gamble here moving all these guys up like this, and you're going to see I'm going to pay for it dearly. But I will come out on top in the end. So at this point, it's just kind of a firefight up north. Not a lot of maneuver going on. You know, some micro movements here, just trying to get better line of sight. Shifting teams around to the edges to try to get flanks, that kind of thing. Center is more or less the same. As you can see, I got that one team down south going through the wood line, flanking, but these two teams here are just in a, you know, firefight with this single team in the center. Which, admittedly, if I were him, I probably would have pulled that team off, or, you know, brought something up to support it. These guys are getting hit by an AT gun down south somewhere, which at this point I have no reason to really mess with, because it's not my purpose right now. Yeah, it's just a bloodbath up there. As you can see, he's bringing one of those teams off the south there, where all those mortar holes are at. And I'm trying to get my Su-122 involved in the fight. I'm having quite a hard time getting line of sight with that T-34 up there on that sapper team. We've more or less won that center fight there, so I have them area firing where I think that Panzer Shrek is at. And it looks like up here at Sokolov he brought up another team. And we are finally taking out that sapper team there in that V-shaped hedge. I'm going to try to pull that Su-122 up north here and try to get eyes on that that kind of fresh grenadier team or whatever it is up there to the northwest of the Sokolov VL. Now, here in the center, I more or less broke him, I believe, but I made the mistake of not pushing these guys through quite as hard, and you'll see how that goes in a few minutes here. I think I could have probably ran them to the back of the map quite a lot faster than I did. I was a little bit overly cautious in the whole situation. And that team up there is taking some pretty serious casualties. And that T-34 got a beat on them, but we just revealed another ATG there that was... it looked like... I knew it fired on it once, but it looks like it hit it twice, but both rounds bounced off, fortunately for us. Could very easily have lost another T-34 there. But we got our Su-122 up, and it's going to start firing on that position there. And the Strelky team's going to fire on these Germans out in the open. You got them down. And they actually surrender, it looks like. There's a little bit of a lull here. This is where I got a little bit indecisive, but I'm just going to skip ahead a bit. So we eventually eliminate that team up by the Sokolov VL, and we take that. At this point, I probably should have just backed off this VL since we had it, kept like a single team there to watch for anything that comes up. It wasn't super important to destroy this ATG, but for whatever reason I got a little bit fixated on taking that out. See, Shrek there took a shot of opportunity at my T-34, but it hit the hedgerow in front of it instead. Another close call. Now, this center part, he did move some teams into these farmhouses there. I had some real issues getting line of sight on that ATG up there for whatever reason. So those guys, I eventually just have them run straight to the Vigrov? Vigrov? VL over there. But unfortunately, since I kind of dallied there in the center a little too long, I'm not going to actually get to taking it. Yeah, this battle doesn't really develop much past this point. Just going to skip ahead a little bit more. We do eventually destroy that ATG up north. At this point, I'm just trying to broaden our front line and cover as much ground as I can. And I sprint some teams to those western edge VLs to try to take them, but unfortunately we run out of time, and that's where we end the battle. So overall, pretty good results. I'll show the details screen here real quick. Just skip that. We don't need to see that. Oop. So as you can see there, both sides took some pretty heavy infantry casualties, and I lost one armored vehicle. Interesting that it doesn't show his gun in there as captured, destroyed, or damaged. Didn't notice that before. Anyway, did have a few teams with some pretty good performance out there too, which I think I'm going to show that here in a second. Yeah, so we got some medals there. Carrion for Ranga. Oh, let's see if we can kind of pause on that. Skipping around too fast. There it is. Ranga, 7 kills, 2 acts of bravery, and I'm not familiar with Soviet medals, so whatever that is. And then one of his troops, Sakharuk. So also medaled, 6 kills. Yep. I think and that guy. So yeah, overall, good performance. That would have been a tough map to defend, I think. So props to my opponent. It was a good game, and thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll upload another one of these soon.